Okay, guys, I want to thank you all for getting on tonight for our Wednesday Power Zoom. And you guys know that tonight is the night where we get just filled up for the rest of the week. And this is the special night of the month where we actually have a special guest national vice president to share from us and this for us. And this is like one of my favorite trainings because I love sitting at the feet of so many different leaders, and I love hearing their story, and I love hearing what they have to share. And tonight, you guys, is one of those special nights. And as I want to just really give God the glory, and because we're all just been praying, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. We've all been praying all day long for our amazing friend and upline, Carleeta, and her husband Philip, and we're so grateful and so grateful that we get to come together, but also celebrate the good news of Philip's surgery. And so, Lori, we're just so grateful to have you tonight. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I actually was reading your RVP EOA story. I'm like, golly, she has changed a lot. Like, it is crazy how you were beautiful then, but you're more beautiful now. And so it's crazy how with time in Arbonne, we grow in confidence and grow in so many ways. What a great story. I felt like I was reading a little bit of my story. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time, you guys. I want to introduce National Vice President Lori Funk to the call, and I can't wait to sit at your feet and hear what you have to share.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be on with you, and so honored to be able to do this tonight and let Carleeta sit back and, like she said, end this day. And yes, praising God tonight. We've been praying for she and Philip all day long, and my husband kept asking me all day. So just, Carleeta, I love you, and I love you and your friendship. I'm so blessed by your friendship as well. Thank you for those sweet words earlier. I was writing my notes and reviewing things earlier, and I thought, you know, she loves so big. You guys are so blessed. I could cry now too, because I mean, she makes nothing off of me either, but so many times has answered questions for me or been there for me and helped me on my journey. And as I had my eye on all of you Oklahoma teams, and just unselfishly has always given of herself. And I came back from Maui just sharing that all over again. I said, you guys, it's not, you know, it's just the people that are doing well in this business love so big. And I used your name so many times, Carleeta, that you love so big. And I think if we can embrace that, we've got it. Because, I mean, they make you feel like $1 million. And I know you know that because you're on her team. But she does that, and I thought of all of her VPs, all of you VPs out there. And all of you are such a direct reflection of her. You all love so big. I mean, every one of you. And I'm just honored to be on with you tonight, and humbled to be on with you, because you truly are taught by the best of the best. You really are. And I know you know what to do, but I'm honored to share my story with you tonight, because I hope and pray as I was putting my notes together that it touches somebody out there and it helps somebody reach what they want to reach in this business, because this business is such a blessing. And so I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about a few different things. I want to talk about my shifts, as she asked me to share my story. And I really feel like my story has a few different parts to it that can maybe help you, because we are all going to face different things, different adversities, different things in our life. Your leader tonight, I mean, I have tears in my eyes, because no doubt she would show up in the midst of everything she has going on today for you. And she's just once again a prime example of love and servanthood. And that's what we do as leaders. And we show up, we keep showing up. And that's what I had to do over my journey. So my first shift really starts out as, and you read my Eye on Arbonne story, and a lot has changed since then. That was teacher Lori. I taught kindergarten for 8 years. And you guys, I loved it. But I so love what I do today and wouldn't change it for the world. But the funny thing is I said no to Arbonne 8 times. My 9th time I said yes 8 times. I wished everybody the best, everybody. I mean, they called to tell me about all the white Mercedes at one school in Oklahoma. My friend called and told me that, she was hoping that I would take a look at this. And I was adding oil to my Saturn every so many miles. I mean, we didn't even think the thing was going to make it any further. And I still wished her the best. I mean, what was I thinking? But I didn't know what I was saying no to. My daughter had severe eczema. We were given a baby line. My mother and father-in-law brought it down from Wichita, Kansas. And I still didn't know much about Arbonne, so I put that in the drawer. No way was I going to use it on her after she already had eczema. I mean, isn't that funny that we do those things? Because we don't know what we're saying no to. And I could give you the other 8 reasons, but I finally showed up. I showed up. Not one person in my first 8 exposures ever followed up with me. So please take note of that. Your fortune's in the follow-up. And so the 9th exposure, my friend called and she asked me for a huge favor. And I love to help people. And so I showed up. And I really was showing up for a warm body because I told her over the phone, I said, now, Sarah, I have enough oil on my face to cover Webb City, Missouri, which is where we both taught at the time. And I said, and, I just don't have any extra money, so I won't be buying any of your moisturizers tonight, but I will be there to support you as a huge favor. And so, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I still tell people this day, I still ask people for a huge favor because that's how I finally showed up on my 9th exposure. I get there and I'm blown away. And I know that that's probably why so many of you are sitting here today. You were blown away with the Arbonne difference and their approach and the Arbonne culture. And I had hope for the first time. And I hope that I can give you hope tonight that wherever you're at in this journey, that it's not over yet. You're just beginning. And that's how I felt that day. I felt like I was just beginning. I had hope again. I could not wait to come home and talk to my husband. And we were literally at that point in our life, one payment away from losing our home. And I still get emotional when I talk about that because I'm so thankful for the blessings. I tell everybody I was like the prime example of a boat, a raft, and a helicopter that God was sending me. And I was finally on my house drowning and I finally got it. And I came home and I couldn't even pronounce Arbonne, Airborne. I think I came in and told him I was going to do Airborne. Now, you guys, I have to back up because my husband's really outgoing. And I had always told him, if you ever make me introduce myself in front of anybody, it's over. That's how shy I was. I would come alive in my kindergarten classroom and that was it. And one-on-one with people because I love people, but not ever did I want to be outside my box, okay? And so I know that day he probably thought I had lost my mind. And I told him because we were one payment away from losing our home, and a week before that I had stood in my garage and had this conversation with my mom and dad. And I was like, what is wrong with me? I've got 2 degrees. I went to school for 5 years. I love what I do, but I can't buy anybody anything. And all I want to do is love on people. And we were having this conversation and my dad's crying and my mom and dad are both just trying to reassure me it's going to be okay. I grew up on a dairy farm. I was from an entrepreneur family, and my mom stopped me, or my dad, I don't remember which one right now, but they said, Lori, your father feeds the cattle on 1,000 hills. Don't you think he would feed you? Now go out there and do this. And I was, I had hope that day because I knew that there is always a way, there's always a plan, and sometimes we just have to trust the journey. And I have to look back and know that if I hadn't have gotten to rock bottom, I wouldn't have come out with just that. I didn't care what anybody else thought anymore. I finally was ready to leave my ego and my pride at the door, as my upline had to tell me one time I had to do. And I was ready to move forward in my life. And that was the first shift. And so my friend had invited me and I was ready to be all in. And we didn't know who our leaders were. You guys, so many times we say, well, if I had this or if I had that, we didn't have anybody. My friend and I did not know who our upline was because somebody out of Texas loved a sample and called somebody in Webb City School District who called my friend who invited me because she decided I probably should do this as a business and invite everybody over. And that's how we all got started. So I remember sitting in her living room floor, and we luckily, and I don't ever recommend this, you are so blessed to have leadership with a plan. And if I could tell you anything, that put your blinders on and stay in their back pocket because you don't have to reinvent it. Thank God that day I pulled up Stacy Thorne's Getting Started training, and it was the 6 for Success, 8 to be great, 10 to win. And you guys, that we literally trained ourselves in my living room floor. And later I met my upline weeks later because they saw something going on in Joplin, Missouri, and they thought we better go find out who these people are. But you guys, I earned my Mercedes 8 months later with that plan because it was such a simple roadmap. Was it easy? Was it easy to pick up that heavy phone? No, but I wanted a better life. What was the alternative? It was not getting better. I could not outrun my debt, and I was trying. I was sewing kids' clothes till 3 a.m. and selling them at flea markets on the weekend. We had sold everything, shut our cable off. We were living on bare minimum, and we could not make it work. You guys, this is the American dream. I'm telling you today, I don't know if you can see this, but these were my first 11-month paychecks. Who in the world in this day and time could start out month 1 with a $125 paycheck and month 11 have a $9,800 paycheck? You guys, that's the American dream. And I want to ask you today, what are you waiting on? Because it really takes a decision. I was terrified. I had no sales experience. I couldn't even get a waitress job in college. They would put me in the bakery because I couldn't interview well. And I think I just scared them, and they're like, find a spot for it. And so, you guys, it was not a matter of me just knowing a bunch of people. I was terrified, but I followed a system, and I picked up the phone and I asked people for a huge favor. And I thought, if I can just get there and share my heart. And I took my mask off and I just shared with everybody about these amazing products that I was on fire about. I wanted to help everybody get better. I wanted to help people start reading labels and turn the bus around for all these kids and adults that were dealing with different illnesses out there. And I knew the answer was ridding their bodies of toxins. And so that's what I set out to do. And I also set out to do exactly what I've done today, is invite everybody I could onto this journey with me, because I knew I had to believe with all my heart there were other Lori Funks out there praying for an opportunity. I wanted to be home with my little girl. She was 2, so bad I couldn't hardly stand it. And I didn't have an answer until I had hope that day. So I'm asking you tonight, as Rita always said, go be hope dealers. What are you waiting on? There are Lori Funks out there waiting for you. So my second shift, I get to Region in 8 months. And it was an amazing journey. I got there with raw determination. I mean, asking everybody, sharing with everybody, pouring belief into people that they could do it even when they didn't believe in themselves. And then I got to Region, and I quit telling people where we were headed, because the first 8 months I was like, I'm going to Region. I'm going to take you with me. I'm coming home to my little girl. And we would pray every night before I would leave for a presentation. And I remember I went to pick my little girl up that day. And I said, guess what? Mommy's coming home. And that was the best day ever. And I had visioned that day. I had planned that day. She had visioned that day. Brandon had visioned that day, my husband. And then we quit visioning. I mean, period. That's what we did. And I stayed at Region literally for 5 years. 5 years. And I will never forget, my friend, we're sitting at GTC. And mind you, the 5 years of that, I had called every one of my upline that I could find phone numbers for and contact, and would ask every one of them, just tell me what I'm doing wrong. Just tell me what I'm doing wrong. And I would tell them, I mean, I was still doing activity. And so everything sounded good with what I was telling them, but there was one thing they couldn't fix. And that was right here. Like, I had to fix that. Nobody else could fix that. The other thing that I had changed was that I was not doing, when I finally got real with myself, I wasn't doing the same thing I did to get to Region in 8 months. I was doing about 6 or 8 events instead of 10 to 15, like booking 10 to 15, which is what I did the first 8 months. And I will tell you, it was way easier to do 10 to 15 a month for 8 months rather than circle a mountain for 5 years. And that is literally what I did. Circled a mountain looking for the magic answer. And I literally did not have, I mean, it was right in front of me the whole time. I had quit telling my team where we were headed. I had quit doing the right amount of activity to create momentum. And it took one of my district managers at GTC to look at me and say, and we were in the back row, and here we are, like, there's rows of people on my team at GTC. And she looked at me and she said, Lori, and I pray you can be this for somebody. You know, sometimes you're the leader for even your leader. And she was the leader for me that day. And she looked at me and said, why aren't we a nation? And all of a sudden I well up with tears and I start crying. And I said, Christy, how could I ask for more? I'm home with my little girl. Look at all these people sitting here. Life's good. And I start crying because right when I said that, I heard the word I, and I realized I was being so selfish. And I looked at her and I go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And she stopped me and she said, if you would just tell us what you need, we'd do anything to help you get it. Now, how humble is that? I just pray that you guys can be that humble to ask your leader, why aren't we headed in this direction? And we'll do anything to help you get it. I mean, what an amazing leader. And I still am so thankful for her because she helped shock me that day a little bit, even though I'd been asking everybody why I wasn't there. And I had been trying to find out the magic answers. I was still so comfortable. I mean, I literally asked her, how could I ask for more? So I literally had left myself there, but I had held my team back because when she said, we'll do anything to help you get it, I realized that I was holding them back because I knew they would all step into it. So that night, I told them, I said, you guys, we're going nation. You deserve it. We all deserve this. And that decision propelled so much. I mean, within 1 year, we put a couple things into place. We kind of really buttoned down the hatches on our system and really followed that system to a T. And they followed it. They made a decision with me. And within a year, we were a nation, you guys. And I look back and think, how many times did I hold them back over 5 years because I quit sharing where we were headed? And so that was another shift for me. And I remember Valerie Edwards saying during that whole process, and I was sitting by the pool at my son's swimming lessons, and I said, I just don't know anybody. And she said, go find 5 people a day, and you won't even have time to call me back at the end of the month. And that's so true. I don't know if I called her back for another year because I had so much going on. You guys, this is just a relationship building business. Go meet some friends. Go have fun. So needless to say, we got there. Nation was awesome. We celebrated with Rita, and she flew in for it. And I had this on my heart. I thought, we really need to celebrate Rita here too. And so I asked all these MVPs to send in letters, and everybody I could just write letters about what you love about Rita. When she gets here, we're going to surprise her and put it in her room so she can read all those the night before. Little did I know that Rita was getting ready to retire. And I sensed something that weekend, and nobody was telling me, and I was so pregnant. And I remember finally asking somebody, something's going on and somebody's not telling me something. And one of them, she goes, Lori, Rita's getting ready to retire. And you guys, Rita had poured into me so much that literally they were worried that I would have a miscarriage or something that week. And I would be, because it was like a death to me. I think it was a death to many people and not really, but we loved her and we still love her so much. And that was a huge, shocker to me. But I'll never forget, my leaders, all of them had come in that weekend, and I'm so blessed to have a lot of leaders on my upline that have really poured into me. It takes a village for Lori Funk. And they start passing notes down to me and these notes are saying, she's taught us so well, it's time to carry the torch. We've been prepared for such a time as this. And you guys, tears rolling down my face. I stood in front of my team that day, and very shaken because I loved her so much. And it was time for us to pick up the torch. And you guys, I'm so honored. I'm so honored that we all get that torch. Aren't you? We have been so blessed to have amazing leaders go before us. I mean, truly blessed. It is so unique. I have so many people from other companies that come to me and say, how do you guys do what you do? It's so unique. And it is because of the way we've been taught and poured into and loved on. I mean, love truly conquers all things. And that was a moment for me where I stood up with pride and thought, I'll be the last one standing. I will carry this torch till the end of time. And I hope you will with me too. And literally weeks later, and I'm not kidding, weeks later, that was April, at the mid-May, a tornado, and everything's going well. I'm a little shaken because I'm sad about Rita retiring, but then a tornado takes out 70, and this is not doom and gloom. I have a reason for all this, but literally a tornado takes out 75% of our town weeks later, and I'm 2 weeks from having my baby. And I don't even know where my customers are, my clients that I love so much. My team members didn't know where their families were. I didn't know where some of my team members were. And I never forget my direct MVP calling me and saying, are you okay? And I'm bawling my eyes out. And I was like, no, we're not okay, But I had a decision to make that day. I could either, crawl in the fetal position again, or I could decide that everybody was worth it. And you guys, it was 2 weeks before we had finished earning our AIT trip, and only 7 people had qualified for it, had finished earning it. But I thought to myself, we've come too far to not finish this. And all of our events were canceled. I mean, every one of them. I mean, there wasn't a town left. And I started calling my leaders one by one, and I was tired. I was ready to give up. I mean, I was getting ready to have a baby. I was tired. You guys, I can't even tell you how many times, I want to ask you tonight, how many times are you in that position where it'd be so much easier to just say, you know what, I'll get to this later. I'm tired. But that's not what leaders do. And I couldn't do that to my team. And the people watching that I had told that this works and that we're doing this. And I started calling them one by one and letting them know, you know what, we've come too far. And our motto in Joplin for our town was, we're down, but we're not out. It was written everywhere, spray painted on houses. And I started calling them, letting them know we're down, but we're not out. And I said, we've got people all over the U.S. that we can start calling. And they started calling. And you guys, this is a victory story. We went from 7 people before the tornado earning the trip to 22 2 weeks later with no town. So I want to ask you, what's your hang up? You guys, you can do this. There's going to always be obstacles. What God has put on my heart all week long, and I did a Facebook Live on it today for my team, and I did a regular Facebook Live too. We are not victims. We are victors. And without test, we have no testimony. And you're going to be tested, but it's what you do with it and what you rise up with that will help so many people. And I pray that some of the things I've gone through will help somebody. And I just keep sharing it because we are much stronger than we give ourselves permission for many times. And I don't know why we act shocked when we go through stuff, because I was reading in my devotional this morning, it says, John 16:33, I have told you these things so that in me, you may have peace. In this world, you will have trouble. What? Why do we act shocked when we have obstacles? Like so many people say, it's a sign. No, it's there to make you stronger. I can literally look back at all my shifts. They happened right after the storm. Right after the storm is when my rainbow came. It was when I got to stand up and go let him show off bigger than ever. Because that is when things happen. And it goes on to say, but take heart, I have overcome the world. The war has already been won for all of you if you choose to stand in it. So I'm going to wrap up quickly, about 10 more minutes, but I want to read something out of a book I read one time. First comes a dream, followed by struggle, and then there is victory. The problem is most people give up in the struggle section and never get to sense what victory feels like. Great people have 2 types of courage. First, they have the courage to get started, to take a leap of faith, to take action when they have no guarantees of success. Second, once they are on their way, they develop the courage to endure, the courage to persevere. Perseverance is the key to stickability. And I'm going to ask you tonight, do you have stickability? Because I want to end with I think 10 or so statistics, or characteristics of a champion. Because tonight I want to call you to be champions. We are all champions if we choose to step into it. And I don't know a single person out there that hasn't accomplished something big that didn't first have obstacles. That's why I shared my story at the beginning. Because sometimes, I am all about positive. My team knows that if something comes your way, we have a little saying that we text each other, all caps, pass, because it's a test. And we just truly have to choose if we're going to pass or fail the test to become the next best leader for our team. And so I want to ask you tonight to put some things into place when you are facing adversity, whether it's a no, or you're afraid to pick up the phone, or whatever it may be. I think we play way too small. But when you're scared, I want you to text somebody and say, pass. Get pass the test, you guys. But the other thing that I ask myself is, Lord, what are you teaching me in this moment? And that has helped me to stare fear in the face and choose faith instead. So are you choosing faith or fear? They can't live in the same house. They can't. So it's time for us to stand up and do all that we're created to be, because we are not little men and women. We're not. I love it when Beth Moore says that. So I want to read this really quick, and I have to find my glasses because it's smaller print. The other was typed out big. Number 1, champions don't compare themselves to other people. That's poison. They don't. They create their own story. I love the movie The Soul Surfer. So I hope you'll watch that. If you have not watched it, it's amazing, because she started comparing herself to others and started shrinking back and having a hard time surfing and winning. But when she decided to be her own best person and own best version of her, then she stepped into it so big. We are all created uniquely. Don't compare yourself. The next one, let's see, I skipped one. Let me back up. Number 1, some need to let go of the past. You're going to have to decide to forgive and love bigger than ever, because love conquers all things. I feel like that champions do that best. They're able to let go of the past. There's a lot of things that have happened on my journey, even between me and my leaders, that we have to let go and love. Like, we're all not perfect. We're all putting this together, and we are all going to mess up, and we have to let go and love. You cannot keep hanging on to the past, whether it's a conflict or whether it's something that you feel like you've been held back too long, whatever it may be, that these stories that you're making up in your head, you've got to let it go, because champions let go of the past and they face forward to the future. Number 2, champions don't compare themselves to others. That's poison. Number 3, champions they feel a need to break through fears that are holding them back. So I want you to really face them and decide to be the evidence. Decide to be the evidence, okay? I had a girl right when I started. We were headed to little tiny Paola, Kansas to see who this Valerie Edwards was, because we didn't know her upline. And we're like over the hills and through the woods, and I'm riding with this girl that's a sideline that had just started. And we both taught in the same school. And I'll never forget her saying, "Now, Lori, all those people in Webb City, Missouri are my friends. I've lived there my whole life." And all of a sudden, my heart just sank. I thought, this is it. She's so good. She's so powerful. She's going to have the whole town. And that was on the way to Paola. On the way back from Paola, after I had turned the corner and seen a ton of white Mercedes in one tiny little town, on the way back from Paola, I thought, well, she better run harder and faster than I can. You guys, it's all a decision right here, okay? Find a way to break through. Your thoughts equal your results, period. Number 4, champions need to understand we can't say the right thing to the wrong person and vice versa. You can't mess this up. You know what? It was the person that asked me for a huge favor that got me, and I don't even remember what all they said. It was the right time for me. Number 5, champions coach the players on the field, not on the bench. How many of you are facing the bench and you've got your back to the big field? I love it when Jerry said that in one of his trainings. We spend way too much time trying to convince people, and the times that I've stopped convincing and I've just gone out there to love big, build new friendships, and paint the vision for other people, it has been amazing. And I have been back in the game the last several weeks. I had taken time to heal after I lost my dad this year, and I've been back in the game the last several weeks, and I have new people starting. And you guys, there is nothing better in the world than to see new faces come alive and get excited and get an activity. I'm on fire. So go out there and face the field. Number 6, champions need to stop spending too much time with too few people. It's like we just start polishing the pearls, and we forget that we want to go wide. I want to give you a news flash tonight. Not everyone does what they say they're going to do. Okay? I know that's a shock, because when I say I'm going to do something, I'm signing my name to it. And I was taught when I was a little kid, if you're going to sign your name to it, it better be good if it's going to stand for Page or Funk, right? That's what we tell our kids. Funk is on everything, and it better be good. But you know what? Not everybody is going to do what they say they're going to do. So you better not put all your eggs in one basket. Keep getting wide, okay? So champions need to stop spending too much. They don't spend too much time with the too few people. They keep sharing the blessing. Number 7, champions create a vision big enough for people to want to be a part of it. And I need to sincerely talk to you about this, because You know what? We're doing all these virtuals and Facebook Lives, and I know your leader embraces all reach out methods. I'm doing it too. But I'm still having meetings where I can literally be in a room and hug and love on people, because there's nothing better than being right there with people. And I'll actually have people tell me, you know what, I can't get anybody to a meeting. Okay, you know what I tell them? Then you're not painting the vision big enough. Because if you're painting the vision big enough, you'll have a carload want to come with you. So I want to ask you tonight, are you getting people in front of that bigger picture? You have amazing leaders. Amazing. I would drive them 5 hours right now to see your leaders. I would. If Carleeta said, get to my home right now, I'd say, don't you worry, I'll load my car and we'll be there. If I had the opportunity to sit down with her and have her share this opportunity. You guys, there's nothing better than being in a room full of energy and excitement and getting a hug from somebody and love. And my son was a perfect example of it the other morning right before church. He was FaceTiming his friend in to talk to him. The next thing I know, and we're trying to get ready for church, he's opening the front door, watching out the front door. And I said, what are you doing? I mean, it's always Grand Central at my house and I love it. But he's like, I'm waiting for my friend. And I said, Baylor, we're headed to church. He goes, I said, you've got him on FaceTime. He goes, it's not as good. Out of the mouths of babes. It's not as good than to be right there with your buddies, right? There's nothing better. You guys paint the vision big enough and get people in front of your leaders. Number 8, champions never give up. They don't. I loved what I heard the other day. Somebody said, champions don't cave in, they dig in. And that is so true. You can spot a champion a mile away. They don't cave. Number 9, champions speak life. They don't speak defeat. Speak life over people. I shudder to think how many times that I was speaking negative that I held somebody back and they didn't even know it. Because when I'm seeing the vision for them, it's amazing what can happen. Because I'm speaking more life into them. And number 10, champions have a plan and they work their plan. You guys have an amazing plan that I've been following for years. And I don't think there's a single one of us in Arbonne that don't have our eyes on all of you. You guys are so blessed. Follow your plan. It works. We are proving it over here in Missouri. We love it. It works. Number 11, champions are relentless in following through on what it takes to win. I can tell you I'm at the top of this county because I was relentless. I was not going to give up. I saw what they had and I wanted it for my family. But more importantly, I wanted it for my community that was watching. I wanted it for my friends that didn't get it yet. And I keep on doing it today so that more people will get it. Champions are relentless. Number 12, champions use their own products. I can't say that enough. My friend down the street joined my team because she said, I didn't know what you were doing, but every time you pulled something out of your purse, it was Arbonne, and I knew you believed in it. That is why she came and asked me how to get to be a part of this company. And that's all I'm going to share today, you guys. I need to wrap up. But I've said so many times, I don't need easy, I need possible. You guys, I hope you're not looking for easy. There's no reward in easy. There's so much reward in digging in your heels and growing your wings on the way up and trusting your journey and trusting the process that will make and mold you into the person that you're supposed to be. I'm not even there yet. Like, I'm 42 years old and I'm watching and learning and soaking up every bit of knowledge I can every day, because you guys, I'm not going to lie, I want to come skidding into heaven someday. I don't want to come tiptoeing in. I want to make an impact with every person I can, because you know what? We can't hook that U-Haul up behind our car, but we can leave an impact that will never be forgotten because we loved people and we showed them what was possible. And I love when Cecilia says, at the end of this life, I hope my awesome God will say to me, job well done, my good and faithful servant. We can't do that sitting on the sidelines. And I still remember the first time I ever heard her say that, and tears rolled down my face. And I made a commitment that day that I would do everything I can till the day I'm done. And I love this vehicle I get to do it with, and I love all the people I get to do it with. So thank you to all of you out there for being you, because more is caught than more is taught. And you are teaching me so much, and you're teaching so many other people in Arbonne, and I'm so humbled that I got to share tonight. because I know that I've learned it from you and from so many other amazing people. I'm just a good copycat. So thank you so much for letting me share. I love you all, and I wish you the best 2017, the best year you've ever had. Love you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for being you.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, honey, for being available to my team, and especially on this day. I know it was sort of thrown together. We weren't supposed to have surgery today, and yet this was the day you got to speak and the surgery got moved, and it's because you spoke life today and gave me energy at the end of a very long day, simply because you have the passion and the energy to paint such a big vision that it makes me want to continue to keep doing what I'm doing. And you guys, I love that we get to do what we do. I mean, I am sitting up here and I do get to sit here with my husband, and he's perfectly cared for. And yet I'm still with everybody and helping, myself stay filled up for this business and be here for all of you and leading the way and showing the way, but still get to create an opportunity for new people. I mean, I'm here in a whole new world, not because I wanted to be, but because I get to be. And I get to talk, and I made an appointment today with the nurse to talk to them about Arbonne, whenever we get out of here and stuff. And it's just so fun when you let this just weave into your life and you show people the vision of what it can be. I mean, she's sitting here watching our life, and we get to say it's because of Arbonne, and that my daughter gets to be up here today because of Arbonne. And there's just so many things. I'm so full. I'm just rambling because I know I'm tired, but I mean, I'm thinking this is an impact in our life. And yet it gives us an opportunity to do what you said and make an impact on somebody else's life and make our testimony. So thank you, my dear friend. You gave me life today, and I promise you I'll keep talking Arbonne the whole time I'm here. And you were a special gift. And I love that we can text this morning privately as friends, and I can feel the love and everything, but then that you're still here at the end of the day, just pouring into every other person. And I get to share you and the wonderful you with everyone. And now they get to know why I love Lori Funk so much, and Brandon.
Thank you for being you.
Philip's saying thumbs up. He's over there saying, tell her I said hi and thank you. Yeah, I will.
Hey there, Lori. I want to make sure that you read all the amazing comments. This was definitely an incredible call, and I know it will be one that we listen to over and over again. And I just want to thank you for your vulnerability and your humility. And it's just such a pleasure watching God use you and touch so many lives. So thank you. And Carleeta, hearing you share, I just can't help but think, and you guys, sorry, because this is so heavy on my heart too, but I just can't help but think that this is why we do this. Mm-hmm. You guys, we never know when life is going to hit. We never know when that impact is going to come. And like that tornado story, I remember when that tornado hit. And I mean, we just never know. And to be able to witness what Carleeta is able to do with her family, and to have the time freedom to sit there and not have to worry about calling into work or what's going to happen with her job or this or that, and Philip's job and her kids. And I just think, gosh, that's why we do this. And I love what Lori said. And I want us all to really think about this, because it hit me too, there's a ton of Lori Funks out there waiting to meet us. And I think when we figure that out, then it's not about us anymore, and it's about everybody else. And we've been given a gift. And so thank you, Lori, for sharing what you've done with this gift. And this is an incredible call. Thank you so much. We so appreciate you taking time to be with us tonight.
Beth, I know people can get off if they need to, but for anybody who wants to stay on and share, like the nurse today, it was it's busy, it's scattered, there's people